morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, good morning. I think I started a little too early.
It's
Welcome
2 minutes till 12.
that's okay. Welcome to the channel. My name is Elizabeth and I am your friendly hillbilly host. And this is my mother, Sweet Tater. Say hi.
Hello, everyone. This is Sweet Tater. And I'm
Well,
not always sweet.
just she's not always sweet. There you go. Yes, she is. So this is Hillbilly Crime. Now, yesterday we got our hands on the file, the investigative file for the investigation into Ben Fields and what he was doing down at the Letcher County Courthouse. Now, today we're going to listen to a second interview. This one is with, I think this is the one that's with Miss Sabrina Adkins, and it's the entire audio interview of the one that was of that little bitty clip that was released a few days ago. So we're gonna listen to that. And good morning. Hello, Darla. Thank you for being here. Laughing Lori. It gets worse, y'all. It gets worse, believe it or not. Chris Cahill. We're going to lay a little bit of foundation today, too, and kind of make some connections that I think are kind of important. So we've got some articles here that I wanted to bring up. Let me stop sharing that and let me pull this article up first, and we're going to read it because it's going to really give us some good information. I read this in a different stream back in September, whenever this first happened. Let me see if I can I'm not sure how to do that. Okay, let's just read it. This was January 10th, 2024. Okay, so it was the beginning of this year. Ex-deputy sheriff is sentenced. One victim tells of nightmares. A former Letcher County deputy sheriff who pleaded guilty to R-ing a female prisoner who was on home incarceration will spend 6 months in the Letcher County Jail, where he formerly worked as a deputy jailer. Ben Fields, who was a court security officer for the sheriff's office and worked a side job for monitoring company Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, was sentenced last week to 7 years total, with 6.5 of that to be spent on probation. Fields was indicted on 7 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor. The criminal charges followed a lawsuit filed by 2 women in March of 2022. So the civil suit was filed before he was indicted. So that gives us a little bit more clarity on the timeline of all of this. The criminal charges followed a lawsuit filed by 2 women in March of 2022. And these recordings that we're listening to, the one that we listened to last night was at the end of February of 2022. So this is all around the same time period.
When now, what was this East Kentucky Correctional Services?
That's the ankle monitoring company.
I see. So he was working part-time for them.
Yeah, because
full-time as deputy sheriff.
Remember last night I said that is an independent contracting job. That's a 1099 job. So that was on top. That was on top. Like they got paid on top of what they made as a deputy. It wasn't.
Do we know who owned that company?
No, I don't know who owned the company. No.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get back here. It says, oh, you're fine, honey. Jump in there anytime, mommy. When the crimes occurred, Fields had left his job at the jail to work as a court security officer in Letcher District Court and worked for Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, Inc., which provides electronic monitoring devices to prisoners who have been placed on house arrest as a condition of their bail. Prisoners are required to pay for the monitoring. The women sued Fields, Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, Inc., and the Letcher County Sheriff, Mickey Steins, in his official capacity, claiming Fields used his position to pressure them into having schmecks with him, and that EKCS and Steins did not sufficiently train and supervise him. The case was filed in U.S. District Court in Pikeville and had been on hold while the criminal case progressed. The women claimed Fields told them he would not make them pay for the monitoring if they would do him a favor. Fields disabled the devices, told the monitoring company that bail conditions had been changed, so the devices were not required. So he was lying to the ankle monitoring company too. And then used threats of arrest to force the women to have schmecks with him. When Letcher County Circuit Judge James W. Kraft II asked Fields for GPS coordinates for one of the subjects for a court appearance, Fields said he couldn't locate her and filed an escape charge against her, court records show. The Mountain Eagle does not normally identify victims of sexual crimes. However, one remaining victim spoke to a reporter at the paper on the record and testified to many of the same things in sworn testimony during the sentencing. The other alleged victim passed away of a drug overdose after the suit was filed. Sabrina Adkins, 47, of Pikeville, who was in jail on drug charges at the time the crimes occurred, said she has completed rehab and hopes to become a domestic violence counselor. She said she had a career before addiction and wants a normal life again. I was clean for 18 years, she said. I had a career. I had a family. She said that all changed when her brother, who she raised after their parents died, also died. I started drinking. I just fell into it, she said. There's no excuse. It was something I needed in my body every day. She spent the following 10 years in addiction and says she has now been off illegal drugs for 13 months. She said she was using meth when she was arrested, Alan. While she is no longer taking illegal drugs, she said the crimes Fields committed against her have left her unable to function without medicine prescribed for post-traumatic stress disorder. She said she has been in the psychiatric hospital several times since the incidents and continues to take trauma counseling. My nightmares got so bad I had to go on medicine and probably will for the rest of my life, she said. She said to Fields during the video sentencing. Oh, okay. She said that to Fields during the sentencing. Did you know I tried to unalive myself twice? Adkins also accuses others of involvement in her situation and that of other women and that of the other woman who filed suit against Fields. She alleged harassment by other sheriff's deputies and arrests based on false information given by Fields. Steins declined to comment, citing the continuing civil case. However, the criminal court record shows at one point an arrest warrant was issued for Adkins because Judge James W. Kraft II asked Fields to bring her to court, and Fields told the judge he couldn't find her because she had taken off her bracelet and escaped. Man, he's at one dirty dog. She also alleged that a male relative of Fields, who he introduced to her, also coerced her to have schmecks with him because he had pull with the court. She said that she talked to Fields on Facebook Messenger, but the other man never sent her any messages. He wasn't charged because she had no proof. Adkins said she believes that man is still doing the same thing to other women because she went to court for a hearing on a charge of driving while under the influence and saw him sitting in the gallery whispering to another female defendant with his arm around her. He was right there in the courtroom, asking her to go out to dinner with him, she said. I felt physically sick. Fields was accused of having schmecks with Adkins in his car, in the district judge's office, and in an elevator at the Letcher County Courthouse. The grand jury on September 29th, 2022, charged him with 2 counts of third-degree R-word, 2 counts of third-degree S-word, otomy, and 3 counts of tampering with a prisoner's monitoring device. All those charges are felonies. And I think it was also reported he was charged with perjury, but I don't read that in here. Oh, no, here it is. I just hadn't got far enough. He was also charged with 1 count of second-degree perjury, a misdemeanor related to him allegedly filing a false complaint. Where's, where are other charges that would hold him accountable? Just unbelievable. The case was prosecuted by Barbara Whaley of the Kentucky Attorney General's office and was heard by Pike Circuit Judge Eddie Coleman. So his case was Ben Fields' case, criminal case, was prosecuted by the Kentucky Attorney General's office. So our Attorney General's office is the one who's responsible for giving him a 6-month in jail plea bargain. So if that doesn't tell you something, that they all work together, I don't know what else does. Fields pleaded guilty to third-degree R-word, third-degree S-word, 2 counts of tampering with a prisoner monitoring device, and second-degree perjury. The 3 charges related to the second woman were dismissed because she is now deceased. But the civil case is continuing with her estate as plaintiff along with Adkins. The court cases do not specify how she died. But I've heard that it was supposedly an overdose of some kind.
It was just said in that article.
Yeah, overdose. So, and, those are to me, every person who's no longer with us that is related to this case is a suspicious death. In return for the guilty plea, the judge followed the recommendation in the plea agreement. Yeah, our prosecutors in Kentucky love to recommend good sentences for the predators. And sentenced Fields to 5 years each for the R word and 2 tampering charges, but that time be probated for 7 years with supervision for 5. So he's only on supervised probation for 5 years, and then he'll be on 2 years of unsupervised probation. The perjury sentence of 12 months was conditionally discharged for 12 months. Fields will serve 6 months in jail and is required to register as a SMEX offender and complete outpatient SMEX offender treatment. Proactive orders will be in place and effective for 10 years. Judge Coleman, acting as special Letcher County Circuit Judge in the case, said consequences of the case reach far beyond its direct victims. Well, I can't believe the judge accepted that recommendation. I recognize Miss Adkins is a victim, Coleman said. I also believe the criminal justice system is a victim in this case. When people behave this way, as Mr. Fields has behaved, it does create a story people can use when they talk about judges, lawyers, officers, and the court system. Unbelievable. Okay, so now we're going to listen to the recording, and I've got a few other articles that relate to this recording. So, all right, guys, hold on to your hats again. Here it goes. And remember, this one is with Sabrina Adkins. I'm pretty sure this is Sabrina's. And this is the full audio of the little clip that we heard that was first released.
Now, the original one was, got out and pushed it and open it, take it on and off.
So you've brought an ankle monitor, and he gave this to you?
Yeah, that's what I went to jail with.
That's what you had on when you went to jail?
Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what to do with it.
But that's not been on as far as you know?
No.
And let me just say this too. This is the Attorney General's office detective. It's the same detective that we heard in that recording last night with the other girl.
Okay.
And when you said, like, when you started this the flirtation, I guess, you had your bracelet on.
Yes.
So when you got out of jail, you met him.
He met me at the jail for the bracelet.
Met Ben,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right at the jail.
Right at the jail, as soon as you got out.
Yes.
He put your bracelet on.
Yes.
So you kept your bracelet on for a while.
Yes.
Then the relationship developed.
Mm-hmm.
How long after the relationship developed, like from the time you got out of jail, from the time that he first took your bracelet off?
I'd say 6 weeks, because I told the court I wanted to go to rehab. And I can afford to, the bracelet, and I pay in motion after motion. And finally they said I could go to rehab, but still had to pay for it. And that was the original reason, I think anyway, in my head, or I want to believe that he took it off, because I was going to go to rehab.
So the court system allowed you to go to rehab.
Yes, they think I had my bracelet on. Court never knew my bracelet was off, ever. Well, I told the judge. He was met me the day before, and actually the second time I got arrested for driving in Pike County, I had court that day, and I was late, and him lied to the judge and told him I had to pull a sanction for something before, and they had a special hearing for me at 2 o'clock that day.
So you're out. He about 6 weeks after you get out, you meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the first encounters? You told me last time you had 3 encounters with him of a sexual relationship. When the first one, is that when he took the bracelet off?
Yeah.
So from the time you got out of jail, approximately 6 weeks after that is when the first sexual encounter took place, and he removed the bracelet. All right, what did he do with that bracelet? Did he give it to you to say hold on to, or did he just keep it?
He kept it. He usually kept it every time. When I had told him that telling on him, I said, you better give me a bracelet. And that's when he had me guess me.
All right, so now after the 6 weeks, you've met him. He's took your bracelet off. Does he ever put it back on?
The day before court, I usually met him the night before court, fight court.
So like if you had like just a court date on your regular charge, did you call and say, hey, I've got a court date?
And he called me too. I mean, we called each other because I'm real big on keeping my court dates. He said, meet me at, 8 o'clock at the courthouse or, whatever. Or I'll leave the courthouse unlocked and I'll be there shortly. And it was always the night before my court hearings.
How many court days do you remember having to do that?
At least, well, probably 4 or 5 because I've made 3 different motions myself. So that's my record.
Now, every court date, was there a sexual relationship that occurred
No.
prior? So you may have court tomorrow and you just may meet him real quick somewhere and he'd throw it back on.
Yeah. But we always met at the courthouse, always.
Always at the courthouse.
Yeah, in the judge's chambers, always.
Even to put it on.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And take it off, always there.
Okay, so now we're going to court. He has met you at the courthouse the night before.
Mhm.
Is that typically how it went?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Puts the bracelet back on. You go to court. Then what happens?
I tell him when I get out of court, where do you want me to meet you to get this bracelet? Once he let me actually cut it off. Because he kept making me.
So you meet him back at the courthouse the day after court or that day or
Yeah.
something. And then he would take the bracelet back off
You keep it.
and he would keep it. Now, as far as you know, how do you know the bracelets are on or off?
There's usually a light and you have a charger, you have a charger.
Okay. So when you get out, he puts that first bracelet on. That's 6 weeks that's on you. Are you paying that fee?
Mhm.
So you paid it for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So then you meet him. You had a sexual relationship. He takes the bracelet off. When he puts it back on, do you have to charge that? Do you think the bracelet was on?
No.
Do you think he's turned it off?
Yeah.
So the rest of the time it's turned off.
Yeah, 'cause usually Patty calls you, shows you charger bracelet or, Patty
this-
will be
The
call.
bracelet that you have there,
Mhm.
That was one of those last times that you've met him, you've had court, he gave you that
No,
bracelet.
not for court. I called him and told him I thought it was on the tail. And I said, you better give me a bracelet, something what, I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do. And so I made him give me the bracelet for that reason.
So once, like you said there yesterday or the day before yesterday, is when you said that we found out your boyfriend, talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
You let Ben know, and that's when everything, so then you said, hey, on that, everybody knows about us and our relationship. You told him that, right?
He keeps saying relationship. I mean, if this guy hasn't tried to color this entire thing in his own words, I'm not sitting here.
And then you tell Ben, I need a bracelet.
Yeah.
Okay. What did he tell you about that? Did he say anything? Hey, you need the bracelet. I'll get this to you. Or he just, what?
No, I told him that and he said, where are you going to be at this evening? And I went and met him. Gave him a bracelet. He really didn't say a whole lot about, telling or, going to tell. He didn't give any kind of opinion on it at all. He'd always tell me to stay away from his bed or blah, blah, blah,
Did, was that bracelet active?
I've never had a charger. There's no way it could be, as long as I've had it.
Now, the other day you said that the reason that you started the relationship with Ben is because you had heard rumors.
She started a relationship with Ben.
That if you had relationships with him or that you could, wouldn't have to pay your fees and wouldn't have to wear the bracelet and you can do what you.
Like she's the one who proposed this whole thing. Like she's the one who started it and initiated it. It absolutely just
Want. And you gave me a name, but of that. You don't know her personally, do you? Do you know anybody personally, like, that you know that this has happened to, or is this just rumors you heard in the jail?
Just rumors, and I know that Chad Brown, he went on house arrest, but he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
Okay.
Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because here comes a great big connection.
Kind of stuff.
Just with girls sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, and just him having sex with girls for their bed to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
Judge and.
You saw the video.
Mhm.
What did you see on the video? I mean, you.
I mean, I've seen Judge Williams having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know. Because I don't know a lot of people from up
Where was it at?
in his office, in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge in chambers? And this was Judge who? But you don't know who the girl was. And what was this guy's name again?
Chad Brown.
Do you know Chad Brown?
Yeah, I do. He's on the ground, he's hiding. They've shot at him and everything.
Who has?
The Letcher County Sheriff's Department, trying to catch him.
What was he on the run for?
I don't know. I really did that, I don't know.
Why would he have a video of the judge having sex with
He's
somebody?
got several.
He's got several.
I don't know how he got them. I didn't ask. Listen, I know too much over there, and that is a dirty place. I try not to know. I don't know how he got them, but he does have some. And he's got an attorney that I can't remember, maybe in Somerset, that knows about it too.
But you saw the video of the judge. Any other video that you actually saw?
No. They say that the Sheriff Mickey Steins is involved. I don't know.
Who said that?
Chad, yeah, he does with Mickey. But Mickey used to do the same thing when he was over house arrest.
And then Chad has, so you've not seen any videos of Ben?
No.
But you just saw the judge?
Right.
Do you know for sure that was the judge?
Yes.
I mean, how do you know that's the judge?
I've been in front of him. His face is pretty clear on that.
But you don't know who the female was. Would Chad be willing to meet me? Could you get a hold of him and maybe even let him call me? Or could you get him to send you those? Is it on his phone or?
No, they're cassette tapes.
They're cassette tapes. Like a cassette, did you?
VHS.
Like a VHS, like a big.
VHS tapes. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there real quick, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to pull up this article. Let's see. There we go. Here it is. All right. Let me stop sharing that. And let me pull this up. All right. This, y'all, is Chad Brown. This was August 14th, 2024. The Letcher County Sheriff's Department has arrested a Whitco man. Now remember Whitco because that's going to be connected to everything that we're looking at today, okay? Arrested a Whitco man on multiple charges after serving warrants at his home on Orchard Road. Robert Chad Brown, 49, of 125 Orchard Road, was arrested last Wednesday and returned to jail on a probation parole violation warrant. He was also charged with multiple new rug and pew-pew charges. The incident occurred about 6 p.m. August 7th when Deputy Sheriff James Norris received a tip that Brown, Julian Smith, and Carlos Bentley all had active warrants and were at the address on Orchard Road. Norris wrote in the citation that when he and Whitesburg police officers Seth Whitaker and Ethan Brown, remember Whitaker, that's the name we heard last night in the audio recording, that Whitaker came with Ben. A man ran out the back of the house and into the woods, and officers heard another saying, "It's the law, it's the law," from inside. Norris said he saw Brown and another person through an open door and went in, where he detained them and brought them outside. He said Brown attempted to run, but he tased him and handcuffed him. He said a female who was detained confirmed that the men who ran was Bentley. Deputy Norris resigned from the Letcher County Sheriff's Department right after Mickey went in there and unalived Judge Mullins. So Deputy Norris, and he's a young boy, like he's in his 20s, mid-20s, late 20s maybe, but he's a young boy, and so it ain't time to retire yet. But he resigned. We don't know why. Norris said when he walked through the house looking for Smith, he saw a large toolbox with a metal tin on top containing a substance that looked like meth, a straw, and a plastic credit card. He said he contacted Letcher Commonwealth's attorney, Matt Butler, who advised him to get a search warrant. He said when he obtained the warrant, he and Sheriff Mickey Steins returned to the scene and found more of the suspected meth and white powder that tested positive for the big F word, that's unaliving everybody, and an assortment of lips, turn that around, that he could not identify in a plastic bag. In all, the citation says the officers confiscated 180 grams, which is 6.3 ounces of suspected meth, 12 grams of the F word that unalives people, several different kinds of medicine, individual medicine things, 2 pew-pews, and an electronic scale and plastic bags. Brown was charged with first-degree trafficking in a controlled substance, meth, second or greater offense, trafficking in a controlled substance, carfentanil, and then F word or derivatives, first offense, possession of a pew-pew by a convicted felon, and possession of paraphernalia. He was lodged in the Letcher County Jail and then transferred to Harlan County Jail as a state prisoner. Bentley and Smith were not caught and remain at large. Bentley was arrested in 2020 on multiple charges, most of which were motor vehicle violations. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for possession of a pew-pew by a convicted felon and 365 days for failure to register transfer of a motor vehicle. He absconded from his parole. Smith was arrested in 2022 and sentenced to 12 months for fleeing and evading, 90 days for failure to insurance. He absconded from probation. Steins said the suspected meth confiscated last week brings the total confiscated since he took office 5.5 years ago to nearly 11 pounds. That's a whole lot. Okay. That is Chad Brown. Now, this one was September 11th, 2024. Robert Chad Brown, I think it just tells the charges that he was charged with in the one that we just listened or read. Okay, so let me quit sharing that. Now, that's Chad Brown. So they were on this.
Big one?
Yeah, big one.
Sure. Could you get him to send you those? Is it on his phone or?
No, they're cassette tapes.
They're cassette tapes. Like a cassette, did you?
VHS.
Like a VHS, like a big one?
Yeah, big one. He goes back a long time. I don't know. He's just good, but he's got videotapes. He said for last 15 years.
For 15 years.
I've seen one for sure.
And when did you see? How long's that been?
A couple months ago.
Do you think that you could get that video?
Maybe. I gotta go over that way today to the doctor. I'm scared to death, but I'll try because I was planning on going to chat.
she's scared to death. And this guy seems like he wants her to do all the legwork. He wants her to do the investigating for him.
Or at least maybe try to talk to him and him call me, something. I was going to have him call my attorney because Becky was wanting to talk to him. But he's real, skittish and stuff and hides everywhere. I don't blame him,
Well, yeah, obviously, but if you could get that video or videos of anything that you think is necessary.
If that won't, nobody even won't say that I got it right. I mean, that place is dirty over there, and it kind of scares me.
I understand. Which we're not saying the judge has done anything wrong.
Exactly.
Listen to this. She's saying, I'm scared. She just got done saying, I saw the video of Mullins doing this. She just lays every bit of this out in front of him. And what does he say?
It scares me.
I understand. Which we're not saying the judge has done anything wrong.
Exactly. I'm getting your video, and then it's your call. What happened?
So see, she is terrified. She's scared. She's afraid. I mean, she's coming forward with something that is a very, very dangerous situation. She's looking for some kind of, you can hear it in her voice. She's looking for some kind of either encouragement or, safety. She's looking for something from him that she's absolutely not getting. And every time she goes into something like saying she's scared and starts to cry or whatever, he just kind of abruptly throws something else out there to distract for a distraction. Like, I just cannot even understand how the rest of the Attorney General's office, the people that are in that Attorney General's office, they didn't listen to any of these. Like, did they just leave it to this detective? Or did anybody else listen to these? Because if they did, they're guilty of something too, in my opinion. I'm just absolutely outraged at these recordings.
It might have been his girlfriend. I don't know.
How to successfully transfer.
Like I said, my only goal was to make sure this don't happen to somebody else. I struggle with it real bad.
And that's what we're trying to figure out is, the rumors, who I could go talk to else other than you. That's why I'm asking.
There is what is that girl's name? I was in jail with. Let me turn my phone. Just a message thing. That being had made sexual advances towards her.
Once you leave here today, what is going to be the best number to get up with you?
I had another phone and it was messed up. And I had all this time with telephone.
And there was somebody called me and said that you were going to be late. I forgot it.
Landlord.
Your landlord. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in the address.
Yeah.
Okay. And to clarify, when Ben's uncle started calling you, and what?
Here, he talks about the same thing that was in that article that we just read. Ben's uncle starts calling her and trying to.
Did Ben tell you when you confronted Ben, said, "Hey, your uncle's calling me"? What did he say?
Really not much. He said that he's made he can help because I was worried to death about my charges over there, being on his house arrest. He said, no, he can help with the charges. And
that's all he said.
Yeah. Or I'd say, your uncle's pervert, and he'd say, yeah, and he kind of laughed. That's usually it.
But he never told you to do any kind of sexual favors with him for. Is there any? Did Ben ever send you any pictures or anything of him? Is there any of the messages? Because there's a bunch. I've not had a chance to go through them. That Ben talks about having a sexual relationship with you or anything that I need to really when I go through the messages,
Right.
and if I don't see something, I don't want to make sure I don't want to miss anything. So I'm trying to. Is there anything in there that he always said, anything sexual in nation towards you that he sent to you?
No, not really, because he was usually called. Because one thing, and that was probably a couple of weeks ago, he told me that Mickey Stein always had Norris do like the physical part of like the drugs and everything. And he said he has me on telephones. He said, so never put nothing on the phone. You don't want nobody to see. So it's usually, so he would always, most of the time he would call. The most we texted was at the beginning.
So what she said, Mickey was kind of delegating to his deputies whatever they were doing.
And then he got to where he got. So, I want you to tell her.
They were all in on this, y'all.
So he told you never to put anything on the phone?
Yes. That's when that Justin Lucas had got arrested. And he called, told me, hey, he's got arrested, he's right, so much.
Now, as part of your bond conditions, I guess, is wearing that bracelet. Were you allowed to go anywhere in the state, or were you supposed to stay in Letcher, or could you go to Pikeville? What do you remember?
I could go in Kentucky, but I always had to get permission for anything. If you walked outside that door, you get permission.
If she walked outside that door, you had to get permission. So that right there just shows you control. The lady that we listened to last night, when she turned him down, he put her back in jail. Like, he sounds to me like control freak. Like, he had to have control of everybody and everything.
I'm not supposed to catch any more charges. I caught 3 charges, which was driving. And I say that because I've been fighting for my license forever.
So you got 3 while he was supposed to be monitoring you, taking your bracelet on and off, you caught 3 more charges.
3 driving charges.
How'd they answer for that?
Do you remember what the charges were?
Driving on with no license or something like that. And then one time I had 5 neurons on me, I think, and they caught me.
Possession. And that was in Letcher, or was
That
it?
was a Pike.
So Pikeville.
Yeah, that was the time I told you they hollered down in the pod and asked me where my bracelet was, and I told them it was home on the couch. It was like as far as sometimes I listen to it, and I'm like, this can't be real. It makes me crazy here. No, just give it just a minute.
And she's got her stuff straight too. Like, she's got her dates. She seems pretty adamant. The way that I listen to this, I don't hear a liar. I hear a very traumatized and scared person. And this is Sabrina. So she's still alive. She's the one who's got this civil case against Mickey and Ben.
And she said, I don't know if they had a sexual relationship or whatever, but there was some, something. And then she went to jail right after that. And Ben's wife, was sergeant. And Ben's wife beat the crap out of her, and she had 4 90 days over it.
So, did you hear what she just said? That Ben's wife beat the crap out of her and she had to serve 90 days at the jail. Let's listen to that again.
Mm-hmm. And she said, I don't know if they had a sexual relationship or whatever, but there was some, something. And then she went to jail right after that. And Ben's wife, was sergeant. And Ben's wife beat the crap out of her, and she had 4 90 days over it.
You know this person,
I met her at the jail.
but you don't know her
No.
enough to say you can call me.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I got her phone number. The day she got out, she hadn't been out long. She had messaged me on Facebook.
You think you could get her to call me if she has something she wants to say? We're willing to listen to anybody.
Well, she was wanting to. She said, you give her my name.
Yeah, they're really willing to listen. That's about all they're willing to do, apparently.
She said, this place is dirty, and it is. It's. And what's really funny, like, city police department, nobody knows that. They're like, it's a dirty county, and I'm like, well, then why ain't somebody done something about it before now?
If you could get up with her, and if you want to pass my number, you still got my card,
I
right?
did. Well, I left it with him. Can I have another one? I'm blessed with a wonderful landlord, and his wife has really had faith in me and gave me a second chance because I don't have him. And he sees how hard I struggle, and he's seen all that was going on. He's like, nobody will believe you. And we had, the judge called him the other day and said, I'm really sorry since I hate you just went through all this.
What judge?
Judge Hall,
But you don't know anything about why the judge, his name has got brought up in this. You don't know anything.
She just told you that she saw the videotapes of the judge and then listened to what he says. But you don't know anything, do you? Yeah, we're not trying to say he did anything wrong. How is she supposed to respond to that when she's trying to tell what's been going on? I mean, it makes me want to scream.
You're just hearing rumors. How much longer, when you got caught for the Pikeville charges, did the escape charge come out?
So I got arrested, I think, in last August, and again in October, and in this last time. So, a while.
So the last time that you got arrested while you were out on bond was in October? And then when did the escape charge come out?
January. I was called, faxed over paperwork, Judge Keith Hall called, I had Zoom court, never was I trying to escape. Talked to the clerk's office.
Did Ben ever have to fill out any paperwork for you or
At the
anything?
beginning, yeah.
Right when you got out of jail?
Yeah, and the first time, like, you have to meet him every Wednesday, I think at 4 o'clock, we're supposed to. The first Wednesday, he filled out paperwork.
But you don't, any other paperwork after that? Do you know what the name of that company that does that is? You were just told to meet Ben.
I was just telling him. And then Patty, I know that there's a lady named Patty that works with him. And, she had told me I would not talk to Ben no more. And then just disappeared. I said, you don't have to worry about coming. I was like, okay. I was like, how do you cover that? How do I just disappear?
What do you say?
He said, don't worry about it. That's all he said.
Okay. Well, I will probably be giving you phone calls from time to time as I look into this further. because I'm sure I'm gonna have more questions, more information. And then,
And he's just bumbling around, and nothing's really seems like it's too urgent for him. Wait till you hear the rest of it.
so if you see my phone number, I'll say pop up, I'll give you the phone call at the 233-6747. Do you have voicemail?
I do.
So if I can leave voicemail.
Yeah.
'Cause I got a good feeling that, I'm gonna think of something,
Right.
that, you know,
You're like me, I forget things,
a
so.
follow-up question.
Can I have another card, please?
Another,
Thank you.
you gonna run me out of business cards.
Yes, do you think I have any concern, like, for my safety or anything? I know being alone, when this first started, which he was bad, but then there's a little boy that said something, and so, like, my son and ex-husband, and, the magistrate at first, like, she better be careful, she's dealing with Letcher County.
I don't know who, I never have anybody I've talked to. I don't wanna say you're safe or you're not safe, because I can't be responsible for you.
Right,
I can say that, the only person that I would know that probably knows that we're gonna discuss a talk with you is the, assistant county attorney in Letcher.
Assistant county attorney
that's
in
it.
Whitesburg.
Justin, who's present here, he's a detective.
You better believe that got out within 5 minutes of that being known. You better believe it.
With us, and the guy that was with me the other day is a detective with us. So we don't tell anybody
Right.
that you even have talked to us.
I'm sure my ex-husband said, they're just worried, because I'm not afraid, at first I was.
If you have told somebody, then it got out.
Right.
But I feel confident that the assistant county attorney is not going to say anything, and he
There's a
doesn't.
little boy that messaged me from over there that I didn't say that to. He's like, I was offered $500 for information from you, or something like that. And I was like, about what? And that's the only reason why I'm asking.
So what's the boy's name?
Justin Lucas, which is the boy that Ben warned me about. I don't
Said
know.
that he.
I'll tell you exactly what he said. He was in writing. And like I told my son, I've run from things long enough, and it's time to, I stand up for myself.
Justin what?
Lucas.
Justin Lucas.
Uh-huh.
And so he said that somebody's offered him $500 for.
I think. Let's see what he said. Okay.
And is this the start of the conversation?
Yeah.
I don't guess I had this other day and on your phone, did I?
Well,
Since I had your phone.
right, I'm sure you can get over.
So, is anything else there?
No, that's really it.
Let me see here if we got this right. He says, hey, I just got offered $500 for info.
Oh, right here. Okay. Apparently somebody in the Angie family, his wife said it's, Angie's real close family.
Said somebody in Angie's real close family. Angie is Ben Fields' wife. Was offering $500 for information on this victim. Allegedly.
Well, I told him I got married because he knows I live in a big old house by myself and it's kind of secluded. So, I got married.
Now, let's just roll this text here. So it looks like he says, hey, I just got offered $500 for info I got. You're saying what info? Lord, I'm thinking about doing it. It's $500. What are you talking about, by the way? I got married to who? So, and then he goes on and says, see, I had a whore down here. I like always pass out Xanaxes, letting her use my phone. So I don't understand what he's.
I mean, I don't understand the information that, because he knew, everybody knew it was common knowledge that, being done that. You were there, with me and several other people, it was common knowledge. So I don't know what information he's talking about, but,
Because he's not saying he's wanting he's wanting to pay him $500. He doesn't say to find information on you.
Right.
It really doesn't say what it does. It? Do you?
let me see.
It says the guest see you on a
I thought it
message
said
and looks and see a lot about Ben.
Well, I mean, he didn't say me in particular. Of course, I'm thinking about doing 500 married to who? Computer, what are you talking about? He kept telling me to type in, Ben's name, and I finally did, but I didn't see nothing besides this right here. I don't know what he was talking about.
I'm not for sure.
At one point, he said he was having an affair with Ben's wife. So, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know these people.
Right.
And I'm just now getting involved, so I have no information. Nobody's told me what people I've talked to says that, you're in danger or anything like that. I can't give you any.
That's fine. I told my son I would ask, so he feel better.
Well, like I said, I can't answer that whether you're safe or you're not safe because I can't be there to protect you. But I do not at this time have any information to say otherwise.
Okay.
And as far as you meeting over here, if you don't tell anybody,
I won't tell him that.
then, like I said, the only person that, and would be he knows the county attorney has actually gave us your name to somebody that we would need to talk to. That other than that, so he knows that a conversation is going to take place at some point. But I feel confident he's not going to say anything. The Commonwealth attorney is not even, we have a prosecutor that's assigned to this case, and she's out of Frankfurt. So the prosecutor's not even from around here either. And, everything else people that's been with me has been in-house that works for the Attorney General. So nobody else knows.
Yeah, he just, wanted to ask, and I wanted to double check, because I am ashamed of this, but, I'm kind of not. I'm kind of glad that it's out.
Well, I mean, as
She's trying to build her own courage up here and listen to how he talks to her. Like it just
gets out and we start talking, obviously, people's going to say stuff. At some point, we'll probably have to talk to Ben and.
Yeah, it's all over Letcher County papers and stuff, So I've had phone calls and.
Yeah, I don't think the secrets got out when your civil attorney filed the civil lawsuit. That kind of put a damper on how we do things.
Oh, really?
It's not secret.
So he's blaming her for bringing the civil lawsuit. That's why they can't do their jobs. Right. Oh, okay.
I know. When I left here and went home, I seen a civil suit. And I was like, oh my God. Because I hate all of it. I wish I could change it all.
But like I said, I don't know if I hear anything that's would be concerning about you. I'll definitely tell you. I wouldn't want, but I don't know anything. I can keep you, aware of some stuff that we're doing, but we do some stuff. We try to keep it as low as we can because it helps us accomplish what we need. So.
And I'm trying to get back to live able in my life a little bit,
I understand that.
So.
Well, this process won't be a quick one. I'm sure, a criminal investigation is a long, drawn-out process.
So what happens next? You'll investigate, and if you have any questions,
I'll call you. And then once I compile the investigation and we think we've done all we can do and talk to everybody we can talk to, then it'll go to a prosecutor, although the prosecutor will be on board with me throughout this. And then, of course, it's ultimately up to her what she thinks she can see and what, she'll make some decisions and then, like I told you before, if there's something there, then it will go to a grand jury. If not, sometimes the case will go to a grand jury and they don't do anything. And sometimes the case is not even worth going to a grand jury, but that's a prosecutor will look at that. And they're the ones that decide, that knows the laws and that stuff. And like I told you, the prosecutor is out of Frankfurt office, so it's not a local prosecutor. You can have confidence in, whatever happens, it'll be just straight up as it possibly could be.
Right.
There will not be any
That's what
local
I'm saying. I was
politics
real
involved.
careful, you say, the judge, Kital, actually was bragging on you. So he was a good guy, and I said he seemed to be.
I don't know.
Don't you? He used to be the county attorney in Pike County.
I've had a couple of cases in Pike County with the Commonwealth attorney up there. The old Commonwealth attorney, he's not even there anymore.
I don't know.
Keith Bartley.
Oh, okay. I don't know. He, when I mentioned your name. And,
I may have met him.
right.
I don't know.
And me and Keith, our kids went to school together. So he was like,
I can't say that I've not met him because I work in a lot of counties, so I may have. I may see him.
He said, you're in good hands, because, he knows how nervous I was. And,
Well, yeah, our office will do, it, like I told you yesterday or the other day, it is what it is.
Right.
That's the way it is. We look at it. It doesn't make any difference if you're the Pope or you're a drug addict. What you have told me, obviously I have to corroborate stuff. It doesn't matter if you was a drug dealer or the Pope tell me, I still got to do that. It's all the same.
and I appreciate that.
And what you've told me, I'm going to do my best to corroborate and work with it. Once I get in this, like I said, may not find anything, may not find anybody else to talk to. But we'll just have to kind of see what develops. It's at the onset now. So
Now, Bethany said something about 4 girls that went to the jail and said the same thing was going on. And she said, I'm getting a bunch of calls.
Well, I will tell you, we're hearing the same stuff. What you're saying is, this person, but when we're having a hard time getting hold of those people. No,
He said, I'm not scared, I don't blame them.
well, I
Scared
mean,
me to even go over in Letcher County. I'm not going back, and I have to go
the
the day.
thing about it, at this point, there's nothing to be scared of, because if you come forward and tell me your story, they can't do anything to you. If Ben calls you and says, if you talk or something,
Right.
what you need to do is if Ben starts to call you or does something, you need to record the conversations. You need to get your other phone and hit record and put it on speakerphone where we can
Right.
hear what the conversation's about. And then after the conversation, the next phone call, you need to be to me. And if anybody threatens you because you're trying to be a witness, there's charges that we can send out on them to do that. Nobody can intimidate a witness. That's against the law. And I assure you, if I call the prosecutor at any given time and say, hey, our witness somebody's intimidating her, and there's evidence of that, she will seek warrants quickly.
Does anybody else notice that he gets agitated more at the thought of threatening a witness than he has in any of these recordings so far? He just as now he gets a little fire up under him about that part. That doesn't make no sense to me.
It won't. We're not gonna let anybody.
Right. My biggest fear is to end up back in the jail. I mean, that.
But if you don't break the law,
Right.
but now if you get out and get wild and start driving,
Right. Exactly.
you're on your own.
Right.
But
It's
if
just like,
nobody's gonna be able to trump charges up on you. I mean, we're past that.
They already have.
right now we're past it. It's like that escape, that's blows my mind.
Of course, the problem with the escape is we need to look at, and I just don't know, is it because of the circumstances or is it, it's just.
some people are asking, so let me tell you, fill anybody in who's not aware. This is with Sabrina Adkins. She is one of the victims of Ben Fields. All that we're listening to is all public record. Ben Fields he's already pled guilty. He's already been convicted. He's already served his 6-month sentence. And now I reckon he's on probation. So these recordings, they're not something that's not supposed to be out. They're public record. But nobody's telling it. Nobody's letting people hear it. And this man who she's talking to is a detective from the Kentucky Attorney General's office. So that's who these people are. And he sure doesn't sound to me like he is at all worried about her safety, or anything else.
We just have to kind of see.
In my
I think I don't think anybody's going to go get another escape one. I'm fairly certain that's not going to happen.
God, no, I hope not.
But
And I called it escape too. I mean, escape? What are you talking about?
let me take a picture of that
I
bracelet,
said, here's my bracelet.
'cause I don't want it.
I don't either. It's right. Look,
Yeah.
I looked at that. It's a good reminder, but I'm gonna look at tonight, I think, or I don't know. Hopefully he'll take it, but I don't want it.
Is there lights that light up on it?
Normally, yes.
On the bottom here when it's working?
Yes.
You can't turn it on and off.
Well, I ain't got a charger. He didn't get a charger with it.
But could you have turned it on and off yourself?
Oh, no.
Once it's activated, it's active.
It's active, yeah.
And the one time you said you cut it off?
Yeah.
How did you cut it off?
So I take scissors and cut it. I did. He was busy doing something, and I was going to Lexington to see my nephew, one of my nephews, right after the other one died. And he kept making me right in. He said, just take scissors and cut it.
And then you ended up giving that back to him, and then he gave you another one. Is that on any kind of messages, or is that a voice phone call?
I think it was a voice call. There might have been some text messages, but somebody had turned off my iCloud, and some of my messages didn't get saved from the past. So,
All right, any other questions for me?
no, I don't think so.
You got both your phones?
With my phone and my bracelet, and it seems so crazy, don't it? Like,
I've seen crazier.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you, and I appreciate it. I really do.
You're very welcome, and like I said, like I told you the other day, we'll do our very best to see what's going on. I mean, that's all we can do, but I can assure you that it will be done thorough and done right. And, so you don't have to,
Well, he assured her it would be thorough and done right. Well, that word wasn't worth much, in my opinion.
local town stuff, doesn't play a role in this.
So I tell people, and everybody just like that was normal. And I'm like, this is not normal. I know it can't be.
No,
But thank you, I appreciate it.
you're welcome. I will, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. If I have questions, I'll probably be calling you.
I'm gonna call and
See if she wants to, if she's got information, you can, meet and give my phone number, and I'll call her, meet and talk to her, or talk to her on the phone, whatever we need to do.
I'm gonna try to get a hold of Tab while I'm over there.
Let me know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Today's date is February 10th, 2022. It's 10:52. Been able to prep the tape before she came in, but present when she came in was Detective Justin Cooley and Matt Easter with the Attorney General's office. It'll be the end of the recording.
So there we go. That's who that was. They just told us their names. All right. And let me go over here and We're going to read this other article. Hey, Alan, come take her out, please, before she starts barking. Okay, here we go. This was March 13th, 2024. Woman's red rum comes after she spoke about her daughter's death. Last October, Angela Roberts, who had no doubt whether her daughter's death 3 months earlier was a red rum or a suicide, even though the death certificate said the manner of death was unknown. She wouldn't do that to herself. She was red rummed, Roberts told the Mountain Eagle then. Now, 5 months after she began speaking up publicly about her daughter's pew-pew death, Roberts is dead, and there's no doubt about how. Kentucky State Police are investigating it as a homicide. Angela Jeanette Roberts, 58, of Bald Mountain Road, was pronounced dead shortly after 11 p.m. on March 7th. Funeral services were held March 12th at the Kings Creek Community Church, and she was buried in the Jim Field Cemetery on Bald Mountain Road. Roberts' body was found in the parking lot of the Dinah Blair Cemetery nearby. Police have released little information about the incident, but other sources say Roberts had apparently been shopping and still had groceries in her car. She had been pew-pewed in the head. Roberts had been begging for information about who unalived Patricia May Trish Roberts Dethridge, 40, last year. Dethridge would have been 41 on March 6th. And Roberts had posted online asking people to remember Dethridge on her birthday and to please contact her if they knew anything about her daughter's red rum. Dethridge's decomposed body was found tangled in vines over a hillside near her home on Bald Mountain Road on July 31st, 2023. And she was pronounced dead on August 1st, shortly after midnight. She had been missing for at least 2 days. Authorities first thought she had fallen. However, an X-ray taken during the autopsy revealed she had been pew-pewed in the head. On March 6th, the day before Angela Roberts' body was discovered, she posted a photo of her daughter on Facebook with the following message. Today would have been Trish's 41st birthday, and I just want to wish her a happy birthday, no matter if she is in heaven, and let her know how much I love her and miss her. And if anybody knows who unalived her, come to me about it, because the cops are not doing anything, or the cops is not doing nothing. You can let me know anything about it, but if you got any pictures of her today, please put them on Facebook. And my daughter Patricia Roberts Dethridge, you will always be in my heart. I love you and miss you. Love, Mom, Angie Roberts. Angela Roberts was a daughter of the late Jim and Jeanette Miles Fields. And then it just gives some information on that. Let's see if this is the one. March 8th. Police are investigating. Oh, that's the same one of the mother. I was going to see, we might want to read the one about the daughter. Okay. This was October 16th, 2024. Kentucky State Police are examining DNA evidence in their investigation of the red rum of Angela Roberts this spring. The KSP Crime Lab collected samples and swabbed Roberts' car at the time of the crime and are attempting to determine whether hair found in the vehicle belonged to a cousin of Roberts who discovered her body and called 911 or to the person who unalived her. Roberts, 58 of Bald Mountain Road, was pronounced dead. Okay. New information says Roberts' cousin was supposed to stop by her house the evening of her death, but didn't find her there. When he started off the other side of the mountain, he saw her car at the cemetery and pulled in beside it. That's when he saw she was slumped over in the driver's seat and didn't respond when he knocked on the window. He told police he used a log he picked up to break the window and gain entry into the car and tried to get her out. He said he discovered the red stuff and realized she was dead when he tried to pull her out of the car. That's when he called 911 and waited for police to arrive. According to documents in the case, the cousin said he had touched several places in the car while trying to remove her. There was no pew-pew found at the scene, though Roberts was known to carry one or more with her. Let's see. And then it just goes on and tells the same thing that we just... Roberts is the third woman to be red-rummed in that area of Letcher County within a 27-month period. Okay, so let me pull this up. Excuse me. All right, so this is a map, and it's going to show you all this here where the little red, where the red thing is. That is Whitesburg, or that's Whitco. Okay, that's Whitesburg, or let's see. I put Whitco in there, so that should be it. Yep. So that's Whitco, okay? The only Bald Mountain Road that I could find where she was, where it said that she was being buried in Kings Creek, that's Line Fork area. All right, so this whole area right here is all pretty much where everybody lived. From what I understand, I think that is where the Fields families originate from. I don't know if they all live there now or not, but the families were all somehow known to one another. Okay, and then I wanted to read this one. This just came out this morning in today's newspaper. Notes from state's investigation show little evidence exists despite other claims. December 11th, 2024. Reports in the national media about videotapes exposing a SMEX scandal in the Letcher County Courthouse are apparently contradicted in documents and recordings obtained by the Mountain Eagle through the state's open records law. So the newspaper got the same stuff that I got. Investigative notes and recordings made by detectives in the Kentucky Attorney General's office do show that a woman being interviewed as part of the R word case against former Deputy Sheriff Ben Fields told authorities she had seen SMEX tapes involving Judge Kevin R. Mullins and an unknown woman that she said were taken in his offices. But the documents and recording made by the detectives do not show that she ever produced the tapes, which she described as cassettes, and agreed with a detective when he asked if they were VHS. The man she claims had the tapes, Chad Brown, told detectives he had no videotapes, but claimed to have audio tapes. He declined to provide them to investigators, he said, because there was an outstanding warrant for him, and he didn't want them to arrest him. It was not clear how he would know that audio tapes were of Mullins or where any such tapes would have been recorded. The interview in which the allegation was made appears to have been with Sabrina Adkins, based on her voice and the statements she made to detectives and repeated to the Mountain Eagle in an interview after Fields was sentenced. Reached recently by the Eagle, Adkins said she no longer wanted to talk about the case. Adkins is one of the two women who sued Fields for allegedly tampering with their court-ordered tracking bracelets in exchange for Smex. The other plaintiff has passed away since the case was filed, but her estate is continuing to sue. The Mountain Eagle does not normally identify victims of sexual crimes, but Adkins has sued Fields, Steins, and Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services using her real name and agreed to talk to the paper on the record in January 2024. Mullins was unalived September 19th in his office. Former Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins is charged with Red Rum case Zelma and was captured on security video shooting Mullins 8 times as the judge attempted to crawl under his desk for protection. Adkins also claimed on the tape that she had been told Steins had done the same thing as Fields when he was in charge of home incarceration before he was elected sheriff. But again, she offered no proof. She also told investigators that an elderly relative of Fields's had been calling her and that he was a Ervert pay. She said Fields told her the man could help her with her case. She told detectives she had Smex with him and that he paid her afterwards. The relative has never been charged with anything in that case. Man, y'all, I'm telling you. All right, Zelma, go ahead and give us what your thoughts are, and I'll go through some of these comments.
Well, I don't really have any thoughts. I just think it's a big old mess, and I think I just can't believe people would treat women so. I had somebody say to me the other night, well, those women got what they deserved. They agreed. Well, come on. That's like saying somebody agreed to slavery.
Right.
It's nearly, to me, it's the same. I just think they're awful, all of them. I hope they clean house with everyone involved.
Well, that's the sad thing. Here you've got, and she just said that it was reported that there were 4 women in the Letcher County Jail who had come forward. It sounded to me like they were in the jail, and they said that they had been trying to come forward too. Usually it takes 1 or 2 people to come forward before everybody else will.
Well, that woman must be an awful brave soul. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
I don't know who she is or anything, and never heard of her before. And I'm so sorry that she's been abused that way, but she really must have a true grit.
Amen. And Annette Holland, ARC, made big donations to the Attorney General. Well, the CEO of ARC, Tim Robinson, is college buddies with our attorney, with like several different people that work in the Attorney General's office. I think it was even our Attorney General himself. They went to college together. They were law school together. Like, they have known each other since they were young. And so that is why our Attorney General had to recuse themselves, their office, from the ARC investigation because they were too close. And Tim Robinson had donated a lot of money on both sides. On both sides of the political
Is that you there, my sweet
thing. So
don't want to get up in my lap. You get my lamp?
I will. Thank you, James Napier. I've designed a few things for Haywood and WMMT. Please check out my chance for a logo banner. I will. Thank you. Exposing him as not only being a part of the civil suit, but the same thing Fields was in and probably the judge. Well, you know, the civil suit came before the criminal charges. We heard that in the first article that we read today at the beginning of this video. So the civil suit came in. These interviews were in February of 2022. And then he was charged in March of 2022 criminally. So it was the civil suit, in my opinion, that got anything going with the criminal. And if they found enough evidence to charge him with what they did, then you know there was enough evidence to charge him with what he really did. You know there was more than just that. They gave him the deal of a century too, 6 months in jail. And I've got a little tidbit about, I have a source who used to work in the Letcher County Jail who sent me something last night and explained how Ben Fields' 6 months was spent in jail. So, let's see. Anytime somebody comes out here and blows the horn in front of the house, it makes my doggies go crazy. Who put the recorder in the judge's chambers? The camera was not in the judge's chambers this entire time. The camera only got put in judge's chambers after the Ben fiasco. So once Ben was charged and all of that, I don't know if somebody made him put it in there. I don't know if it was voluntary. I don't know. But we do know that camera was not in that office until recently. And Mickey knew it was there. They all knew it was there. Everybody knew it was there. So that answers that question. Terry, Southern Girl. I think he's trying to convince her it's okay to go ahead and tell us whatever you need to because it's against the law for anybody to threaten you. Well, that's what he was trying to say. Ben pled, but it just sounded to me like he got more of an uproar about that than he has the entire any of these interviews, hearing about the other stuff. Ben pled to protect the others from further investigation. He was probably afraid to. Good point, Dixie.
Well, they may have paid him for all we know.
Yeah, I know. We don't know.
I mean, it's kind of hard when you get put on the sex offender list. I don't know what your choices for jobs are after that. I don't think that you can even wait 7 years and get that taken off.
No, SMEX
That's
offender
a pretty
is
bad
different.
thing.
Yeah, SMEX offender registry is different than a child abuse.
No
And
felony.
neglect. Yeah. If Mickey was involved in the other, it may explain why his wife, if true, kicked him out and his daughter wouldn't talk to him when he called. He was either exposed or he told his wife. That's very good possibility. Judge and the sheriff. I thought she was a witness to that. Oh, well, no. She was not a witness to the pew that happened. What this recording is of the interview with Ben Fields' victim. And Ben Fields is the deputy that worked under Mickey Steins. So it's connected, Terry. It is absolutely connected.
But nobody knows exactly how.
but nobody knows exactly how. Yes, I will, Mr. Napier. I will. Okay, let's see. CC. If Sheriff was my spouse and I was in wife's shoes, I wouldn't be sitting behind him in court. This is deranged behavior, and I would not want to ever be around him again, ever. Well, and there, at first, I had never heard, not the first whisper of anything like that around Mickey, but here lately, more things are starting to come out. More people are telling their stories.
This
And
one is interesting. That investigator that was interviewing her,
yeah,
detective, is he the same detective in Mickey's case?
is this investigator the same one who is lead detective in Mickey's case? No. I think I recognize the voice. No. The one who was the lead detective in Mickey's case was a Kentucky State Police. This guy is a detective with the Attorney General's office. So that's two completely. State Police Post 13 is in Hazard. This guy is out of probably Frankfurt or Louisville or somewhere.
Okay.
That was yesterday. When did she become? This one that we listened to today is still alive. The one that we listened to last night has since passed away.
But she passed away from an overdose, supposedly. It was what was in the newspaper.
Yeah. Finally, someone is talking about this. My daughter was friends with her daughter's child. It's so sad. They should demand in the lawsuit this investigator being fired and decertified for how he handled the situation. He came in and told her the narrative he was going to report. Yeah, I was very, very surprised. If you watch any kind of press conference or even like in the trials when they bring in a member of law enforcement or an expert witness or whatever, the first thing that they do is start spouting off all this training that they have, all this training. Well, we went to, this training and that training, and I'm certified in this and certified in that. But this is what their attitudes are. Like, this is what your emotional intelligence is as a detective with the Attorney General's office. Like, you'd think that it would just be someone who was a lot more compassionate, and emotional intelligence is a real thing, and he didn't have very much. His was on a low bar. Jay Branham, this is not the same detective that was on the stand in the prelim hearing. This detective is a joke. Jeff Day, I'm almost positive those videos were passed around among their friends and associates, kind of bragging. Yeah, and that's probably how people got their hands on these things. Because remember, social media and cell phones and the way that things are today is not what it was 15 years ago. And even before then. And, they don't just start this behavior either. So I would, it stands to reason that they didn't start this behavior once someone became the judge. This behavior was probably going on all along.
Well, it's really sick.
And it's probably just gotten worse and worse and worse the more people got away with it. And the more power that you got, and everybody puts people up on these, not everybody, but so many of us will put people up on these pedestals and absolutely know nothing about what they really, are like. Brad. Mickey isn't the ringleader. This was going on way before him. Look into Benfield's wife and daughter. I've heard a lot of stuff regarding this, and I feel like the tentacles reach out from every direction from this case. I think it's all connected, all of it. You've got ARC, you've got the district court, you've got the drug court stuff, you've got the preacher that works for the drug or the rehabs, and you've got money, Medicaid fraud, all, you've got unsolved bedrooms. I'm telling you, I think the tentacles go every which way. This detective, as well as the Stamper fellow, are both jokes. Most of them are. Cops aren't, Mom was. I'd be afraid to get too close, considering so sad. Let's see. And, think about, I know I compare this to it a lot, but like all this stuff that's going on with P. Diddy and all the people that were around him, and the way that they used contracts and non-disclosure agreements, and the way that they financially isolated and abused people. Like this is a power thing, and it doesn't have anything to do with race or anything like that. Like, this is sex trafficking. What they are doing, or what they have allegedly been doing, is absolutely, it just, like, normal people. Like, if anybody gets upset with me for putting all this stuff on there, like, why would you get upset with me for just putting this stuff on there? This is the truth. Like, if you want to back, if we want to back these people up or support them and say that they're just these great officials, and then there's something wrong. There's something bad wrong. This ought to outrage every single one of us. Everyone who hears about this case should be outraged. Thank you, honey. Thank you. It just, and he got 6 months in jail. He took a plea and got 6 months in jail. Somebody said it a little bit ago. He took a plea to protect everybody else. Jamie Hall. It happened on Cowan. And that's right there around Whitco, ain't it? Cowan and Whitco and all that area. I tried to look up Bald Mountain Road on my maps, and it wouldn't bring that up in that area. So it kept wanting to take me to North Carolina or something. But I saw the Kings Creek Cemetery, so I figured it was in that area somewhere. And, she could have, these unsolved red rums are very suspicious. The mother reported in one of the articles, there's been many articles wrote since it happened, but she reported in one of the articles that after her daughter was found unalived, that someone kept breaking into her daughter's place, but they weren't taking anything. She said it was like they were looking for something. So, that has my spidey senses standing up. And I forgot my train of thought there earlier. When I was talking about social media and all of this stuff now is different than it was 15 years ago. Well, what do we know about predators, people who like CSAM material, and people who engage in that kind of stuff? They usually share it with others, with other like-minded sick O's. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if the tapes were shared with their buddies. And, anyway, go ahead, Mommy. What was you going to say?
I don't remember, but this guy right here was funny. He said he wanted the videos for his
He wants
own
to
use.
find the videos for his own use. He probably wanted to ask the lady for the same favors for him to do his job right then. This guy's as bad as the rest.
Well, I think that, I think a lot of times people want bragging rights. I kind of like having a little bragging rights. But my bragging rights might be somebody said, yo, you did a good job or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't be over something like this. But if this is where your mindset was, you know what I'm saying? If this is what floated your boat was victimizing women, then you would want some brag. I mean, that's just victimization.
It is.
I mean, if they wanted to do such a thing with you, they'd have said so. I don't think they had anything to gain personally by doing it. The only thing they had to gain, I mean, they were coerced into doing it. They wasn't gaining anything.
They weren't gaining nothing. That little girl said in that interview, she said, I did it to stay out of jail, and I ended up going back to jail anyway. He put her butt back in jail anyway. So, I mean, that even adds insult to injury, And, maybe they, it just, I don't know. I just think it's awful. And I think you put people in a situation and in order to protect themselves, they have to do what you want them to do. I don't think you can hold them responsible and say, well, they could have said no. Yep.
But they can't say no. Those women can't say no.
Well, Jennifer apparently did say no, and he came and took her to jail.
Says, oh, yeah, the fish stinks from the head.
Sheriffs and Kentucky State Police are very tight together. Yeah, they were all friends. That detective that was up on the stand in Mickey's hearing looked to me like he was about to cry. So I bet you he was friend. They were
all a dollar's racket.
Money racket. Yep. Mother is absolutely
power. I think they like their power over people, and it adds to the pleasure they receive from these women that they have this power over them. You know what I'm saying?
And control.
Yep. Yeah.
Like she said that he had to know where she was at all times. Well, that sounds like a possessive thing, Mother is absolutely correct. Government employees act as though they are the master, and they treat the people as though they are slaves. I definitely have mixed feelings. We all have choices. She made her choice to have Smex versus staying in jail. It is definitely wrong that they took advantage of the situation, too.
I think so, too.
Yeah, Smex versus jail isn't really a choice.
Well, it's a hard choice at best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, she's the one that we listened to last night. She got out of jail on Friday. He propositions her. She turns him down and says, no, my husband can pay for my bracelet. And then Monday he shows up and puts her butt back in jail, and she stayed in jail for 2 or 3 months after that.
But we don't know if she would have stayed out of jail or not. They may have been just waiting for her to get out of jail to file some other kind of charges on her. So we'd have to see those charges.
Yeah. Let's see. Marnie, the jail has been said that it was terrible conditions. Yes, we all have choices, but Ben was harassing and threatening her. Yeah.
Well, he was an employee of the people. He was our representative. And whatever he does is a reflection on me. And if we don't say things, then it looks like we're in agreement with it. Well, I'm certainly not in agreement with that. You got to treat people right.
Yep. CC, the only work the investigators were doing was working to hide things.
Well, I think they were trying to hide stuff, it sounded to me like. And it feels that way.
I wish you'd go viral. I live in Washington and it's the same here. Forget politics. As Americans, Letcher County is exactly like every other county. If they don't get caught, they run for higher office. Honey, you hit that nail on the head. That is so true. And yes, we're not all going to agree on everything. And so it's okay for us to agree to disagree. We can have our own feelings and our own thoughts on all of this. And I'm sure that we do. I'm sure that we do. What happened to the higher ups mentioned? They were, as far as we know, nothing. Nothing. I mean, you got Mickey in jail now for what he did, and Kevin's no longer here. So, I mean, something did happen, but it wasn't because of this detective. It wasn't because of any of his great detective work. Victim blaming is a cop-out. Elected officials and people sworn in as police are held at a much higher standard. At least they should be. When
Well, they are.
That, you see the chaos and the fear that follows.
That's exactly right. If your legal system is not strong and above, and your legal system, your sheriff and those people, if they're not above board and strong, then you're going to have, that's what's wrong with us today and why we have so much crime, is we can't trust our legal systems. Or at least, we've come to believe we can't. Maybe we can. And I just don't know it. But man, that's just so wrong for the legal system to be corrupt. You just can't have government with that kind of goings-ons.
No, you can't have any kind of fairness or justice. Where's the justice? That woman there said that one of her fellow inmates that she met at the jail. When you're in there, you end up kind of getting close to somebody.
You bond.
Yeah, you bond with somebody. And so this girl that she bonded with told her that she had allegedly slept with Ben. And then she goes to jail, and allegedly Ben's wife beats the crap out of her, and she spends 90 days in the Letcher County jail with her being the sergeant over the jail.
Well, that should never be. There shouldn't be so many from the same family all junked in there together.
No. And then Ben's
That's
sitting
nepotism
for the drug court. That blows me away. I mean, that just added one more.
Oh, Lordy.
I know. I'm sorry, Mom. I can't even hardly listen to this guy. Just make her out to be a bad guy. He clearly doesn't know what a position of power and authority means. It's just so awful.
I mean, she might not have been a very desirable person that you'd want your children to hang around with, but that's not your choice. You're not in a position to judge. Everybody should be treated the same, and you should treat people as what they're telling you is correct until you prove otherwise.
Yep.
I don't think he worked 20 years, but he worked about 13, didn't he?
I knew of 10 years that I know of. And so I don't know how many years. And that was just me putting the dates together, what I read. So who knows? He could have been a bailiff before Kevin even got in there as judge. I'm not sure.
I wonder what this guy says before the 60-minute episode. He was involved with some of the stuff that went on with that. Oh, with collecting the material for the 60 minutes. I guess I didn't watch the 60 minutes.
I didn't see it either, I don't think.
Oh, we're sorry, War Boop.
Oh, as backwards as we are here in Texas, this kind of behavior has its own charge. It's literally an enhanced crime. So clearly we have evolved past the idea that coercion can be equal to consent. That's good to
That's,
hear.
that's exactly a great statement. Coercion, if I said that right, cannot be equal to consent. And that detective knew that, and I resented him keep saying the relationship.
I know. I know.
Well, maybe we got the wrong idea about a relationship. Did a slave and a master have a relationship back in the slave days? I don't think so.
Mm-mm. Mom, look here. Brother Smith says, Elizabeth, if I were to ask you to name just one man of integrity in that county, who would it be?
My son.
Yeah, we got 3 boys that are pretty good. But other than our boys, which we are biased.
I can't think of anyone in political power that I have a great deal of admiration for. Now, I like my little old mayor here in Neon, but of course, he don't have no power. He's just the mayor of Neon.
Yeah.
But he sure is a good dude.
Well, I will name one, and he's the only one that I've ever been able to name, and it's Mike Watts Sr.
I like him too. I think
is.
he might be. I like him.
He's our circuit court. He's our circuit court clerk. His dad used to be our circuit court clerk years and years ago, I reckon. His son is actually Michael Watts, who is the assistant county attorney and the assistant Commonwealth's attorney. And he basically ran that office the whole time Edison Banks was sick. And he worked under Edison he's been there forever. So
Edison Banks just died.
Yeah. And Michael is very connected, but he's on the, he's not right out there in the front. He's kind of more behind the scenes.
Well, this drug court thing that we got seems to be where most of this centered around.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that was their access to the women. That's how they accessed kind and type are not really the right words, but their victim, like that's where they were looking for their victims, were in the judicial system and in the rug.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so they're looking at somebody that was already down so they could kick him a little further.
Yep. Already vulnerable, easy to manipulate, easy to threaten, coerce.
And of course, there's some investigation going on in that also. Also about not medical aid, the medical part of it.
The Medicaid fraud part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Somehow it's to be associated with that too. It was that they were charging Medicaid because, there's got to be somebody paying.
Yep.
So Medicaid paid for those girls to be in rehab. Is how I figured it was happening.
Yeah. And from the way that I understood it, someone had sent me a message and told me their story and said that their a 30-day stay at the rehab was allegedly being billed at $30,000 a pop. So Medicaid was getting charged $30,000 price tag for a 30-day stay in jail for one person. That's a lot of money. And you got to remember that this Tim Robinson, who started ARC, it's been widely reported in all kinds of articles. He started that with one house, one little rehab house, sober living house or whatever. He started with one, and it's grew to where they had them all over the state. You had so many. I'm sure it wasn't a nonprofit. That had to be a for-profit business. I mean, he quit being an attorney. He was a lawyer by trade. And so he quit being an attorney to run these rehabs. So there was a whole lot more money, apparently. It sounds to me like there's a whole lot more money in this than there was being a lawyer. I think they said they pulled in like $180 million last year or something like that. It was way up there with. Let's see. We'll mute her microphone. Y'all let me know if you can't hear me. Trying to go through some of these comments. I've gotten behind on them. There we go. There, she's back.
I was just getting my babies.
That's all right. See you later, says Ben's dad worked as a county deputy and in strip mining. Constable in District 1 for 21 years. Worked security for the city too. Good to know. So
What city was that?
must have been Whitesburg. Go on.
County deputy.
Oh,
Well, they all had lots of legal involvements all over the place.
yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me pull up this. Somebody was wanting to know what the Sabrina Adkins.
I didn't like the first photo they put up. Not that guy. I don't know what that means. Do you?
Okay. Give me a second. Let me pull up her Facebook page. It's private. So,
You're not. It'd be hard to find her picture.
I got it right here.
Oh,
It was in the paper, so I mean, it's not like we're
okay.
putting it out there.
Now, who
But
is this?
This is Sabrina Adkins. She's the one who we just
Okay.
heard in the audio today.
Well, she doesn't look so old.
No, but she's not young either.
Well,
Somebody I had saw.
30s or 40s.
That's what I'd say. One of the two. But somebody had said in a comment, I don't know if it was today or if it was yesterday, but they said that it was something to do with youngins, that the age of who they were doing this to. But it didn't look to me like it was youngins. It looked to me like it was some of the older women, like the one we heard last night was married, and they were both substance abusers, her and her husband, she said. So, they were taking advantage of where they could take advantage of. And that probably, you said that last night, Mom, that it was kind of like, I'm sure it would be like a thrill, the thrill of not getting caught. I'm sneaking around with this one's wife while he's inside in the bedroom and has no idea. You know what I mean? That's like crazy thinking.
Well, we have a permissive society, so that just goes along with it.
Brother Smith says, yep, Fields took one for the team. Marnie, absolutely. We all should be outraged about this kind of stuff. It's unacceptable. That's the right word.
That's exactly right.
It's absolutely unacceptable. I was going to see. I think I read all of the articles.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I read all of those articles, so I'm not going to go back through them. I just want to try to get these comments. I had gotten a Cash App, and I got one the other day, and I didn't see it until after I had gotten off. And so I just want to shout out to my Steve Lewis sent me $25. Thank
well,
you so
wasn't
much.
that nice?
Yes. And let's see. Steve Lewis sent me $25 on Friday for transparency. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you so much. Trying to keep the heat on here, y'all. Oh, let's see. See you later says whole family worked in and around the jail. Isaac and Ben and his wife Angie, daughter Holly, and her husband worked in the courthouse. Well, that just
Lordy.
proves my point of what I've been saying about nepotism all this time. You know, people who went to school and actually have the academic credentials to be able to take the, properly do these kinds of jobs. None of us can get them because of people like that.
Well, it's kind of like incest in a way.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the definitions are different, but when you have so many of the same families working in something as valuable as your courthouse, you're going to have trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're going to have a whole lot of arrogant, power hungry, control.
Well, people think they got a free hand because you can't do anything to them because, it affects this one and that one affects that. I mean, it just, that's why we don't do nepotism in lots of industries and in education. Sometimes, some places, you're not allowed to, your wife and you're not allowed to work in the same institution.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that way where I worked in education, but many places it is.
Mm-hmm. And just disclosing it doesn't matter. Like, so what that you disclosed it? The end result is still going to be the same. Take all the political stuff out. It's still illegal to record a consensual encounter without both parties' consent. They could be charged on that one. I don't think that's true, Mr. Day. I think Kentucky is only a one-way state. So I think all states are different. Some states, it is illegal to record somebody without their knowledge, but in some states, it's perfectly legal as long as as long as one person knows that the recording is being done. Which I'm no lawyer though, so I'm not giving out any advice or.
How would they ever get some of these? If that was true, every place, how would they ever get some of these recordings on some of this mafia?
Right. Well, and that's
these movies I watch. I love them.
And that's investigative too. Like these are investigative tools. I think what he's actually talking about is
personal. Yeah.
Like if somebody was say
if I came to your house
and I hid a camera in your bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's illegal. But if me and you were getting ready to have a conversation and I just turned my phone on in my purse without you knowing that I was recording our conversation, I think that's okay. I think Kentucky's a one-way state, but I'm not positive about that. I think it is. But with an investigation, that's like completely different when it's an investigative tool into a crime.
But some of these others, like her saying that she'd seen, VHS tapes. I can't believe they had anything on a VHS tape. I couldn't figure out what they were, some of those words they were using, because What would you record video on to go to a VHS? I don't know. That seems like old technology.
Yeah, but you got to remember where we're at too. You know, there was an old VCR in this house when we bought it last year. That old man still had a VCR hooked up to his TV. So
Well, you still got the VCR player.
we got an 8-track player. That's an 8-track. What you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, VCR's different. Oh, 8-track, yeah.
Caught that 6 months county. He must have put on the gal's knee pads to get that. Ain't that usually good for 20 years or so? You'd think. I went from Florida to Minnesota and seen 3 cop cars. Soon as I hit Kentucky line, seen dozens of cop cars. Let's see, Ben's brother, sister, wife, and brother-in-law all worked in and around the jail. Yeah. Letcher County is a police state, and they're out of control with abusing the law.
Well, that's a good statement. It puts it right out there.
Yeah. Howling Wolf, your mama is a wise gal.
Well, I don't know about that. I just lived a long time, but I never was around criminal people. I didn't even know they existed. I was involved in education, and I always was, and I truly believed in what I did, that to educate people was their way to have a better life. You know, they could, whatever it was they were going to do, education, you know, it made them wiser and stronger and better to get jobs and treat their kids better. Oh, I'm such a wuss.
Well, and I was because you were so innocent, as I grew up, I was so shocked when I found out how the real world was. Because our brains don't work that way. Like we don't.
Amanda, let's look at that when she said back there about
Mickey did the women in this county a huge favor.
Well, I think maybe a lot of people are going to feel that way, you know, when it comes down to it. So, here we go. Why do these men do this to begin with? Are they in competition? Are they looking to feel superior? Are they all simply dirty old men? Well, I don't know. It just seems to me like there's an awful lot of them around. I'll just tell you.
Read that one.
Favors have always been done like this for so long, and just now somebody's coming out and believed. Must be the Me Too movement. I do wonder why it's taken so long. Well, you know, like I said the other night, Eastern Kentucky's a good place to be. If it comes to the end of the world, it takes 20 years for everything to get here. P. Diddy Appalachian. I remember y'all told me he was a dirty old man, P. Diddy was.
He's a rapper. Yeah.
Too many cops and too uneducated or untrained. That's what I'm saying, and I've been saying for a while. Those people that become police officers, they need to go through psychological evaluations that would pinpoint some of those awful tendencies that people have to inflict pain and suffering and torment on others.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's
well, Howlin' Wolf's got a point there. Sometimes I get on the wrong side a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mouth off. But I've learned to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah,
I'm too old to go to another state.
I know.
Got too much to lose.
Yeah.
All my friends are here, you know, and I'm retired. And
yep. Okay, so let's see. I've got something I want to read, but I don't know if I want to read it on this one or if I think I'm going to do a whole nother live just on stories, anonymous firsthand accounts. I have several that people have wrote to me about that want
Okay,
to share their stories. Go ahead.
Okay, they showed up. Supposedly, Ben, Mickey, and EMS showed up at Hill's home a few days after getting the bracelet, responding to a reported OD. She was unloading groceries from the car, then became deceased.
Listen, I'm telling you, if that's true, if they showed up at her place like that, she said, the one that we heard last night said that as soon as she had gotten out and gotten released, that Ben showed up with Ben, Mickey, ambulance, everybody showed up to her house saying that they heard she was in an OD situation. And like you said here, she wasn't doing anything. She was completely fine.
Yeah, we haven't seen a talk screen of her. Not that that would prove anything, but it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, she said herself on recording that she thought Ben had set that up because she was fine. And he was yelling at her and screaming at her and telling her if he had to come back out there, he was going to take her to jail. He was intimidating her. And he was showing her by bringing Mickey and the ambulance and the city police and bringing the wagons with him. He was showing her how much power he had. And
Well,
that
she
was a
did.
threat.
She did die.
She sure did. And you think, what?
And it was after these charges, and it was after her testimony. So, there's enough room to be suspicious, I'd say. I'd be.
No women in a position to swap for favors, but men wouldn't even ask for favors. They're men. Just getting lucky while locked up is enough. Well, and Ben approached her, like that detective kept making it sound like she was the one that was flirting with Ben, that she started.
So even if she had, he's supposed to say no. He's not supposed to say yes. When I had students, people flirt with me all the time, but they're not wanting any sexual favors,
Mm-hmm.
But people accuse me of flirting because I'm real friendly and, and I talk to people and ask them how they feel and I identify and bond with them. They say, oh, you're flirting, but I'm not, But she could have really propositioned him. And there would have been no law that says she was wrong. But if he accepted her proposition, then he would have been wrong. It's just the way that it is when you're in a position of power over people. You just can't do that.
And it's not fair to characterize what happened to these women in the light of them being the ones who initiated this contact. That's not how it went.
And they're not relationships. They're just prices. They're just favors. They're not relationships for sure.
It's
relationships involve some sort of an emotional attachment. I have a relationship with my dogs.
I know. With the glasses making me want some sweet taters pie.
Oh, he likes my glasses?
Yeah.
Well, now, I'm just sort of a plain old cook. I just don't like, I made me some sweet taters yesterday, but I baked me some taters and pulled that skin off, and then I cut them up and put butter and sugar on them and marshmallows on top, and they were yummy.
They were. I stopped by and ate some. They were good.
Then I cook for my dogs, and I cook them chicken. And I put it in a big pot, and I cook it, and then I take the broth and make vegetable soup for me.
Yeah, you make the best food. You make the best food. I'm trying to go through these comments, y'all. Sweet Tater and Elizabeth, you both have such kind souls, and I really appreciate the respect you give all the victims. Well, thank
Well, I've been victimized myself, and I know what it means to be on that end.
June says every person that was sentenced through that court should ask for a new trial.
Well, sometimes that happens. I see it in movies, and they say, well, every case he ever tried will have to be retried.
Yeah. Sheila Thomas says, I think once you are propositioned by someone in that position of power, you are in a lot more danger saying no than saying yes.
Well, I think you're a lot more apt to be killed. The Big Apple. I don't know who Michael Lakeland.
In my opinion, the bad apple there is the preacher.
Oh, I know which one he's a meaning. Yeah, they got some nasty stuff on him too. I saw some of it on something on Facebook. It was a video or a audio or some sort of messages, and yeah, he was said to be a dirty old feller too.
Well, he was he stayed at the courthouse. Like, he stayed at the courthouse. He's the one who put up the video right after Mickey went in there and unalived Kevin and said that they were both his best friends and everybody needed to be quiet and quit talking about all this because we were going to find out that it was all mental health. Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of backlash over his video. And
he took it all down.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot what his name was, but yeah, he was supposed to be a dirty bird too.
Kevin Mullins was the puppet master behind the scenes, pulling the strings. Wait till I read these stories from people. We'll do that. We still got another couple video or audio files to listen to,
but not today.
Not today, no.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I am too. And last night, 8:00, we started at 8, and that was just a little too late. So next time we might have to start at 7. I didn't get to bed till like 2.
Yeah, they're liking your earrings. I liked them too. I told her so.
I used to be all about earrings. I love earrings. But then when I started my job almost 3 years ago, I got a really good job, but it was from home and it was on a headset. So all I did, I stayed in my bathrobe the whole time. I never had to put no makeup on. I never had to do anything.
So now you're getting all gussied up again.
Yeah, I had to learn how to get out of my bathrobe again.
Well, I'm going to stay in my shorts and sweatpants and T-shirts myself.
Okay. That's fine with us. Amanda Carmody, what's your opinion on how involved Steins was in all this? He absolutely knew what was going on. Well, from what is starting to come out more and more, he was just as involved. At first, in my own opinion here, we're just speculating. I thought maybe Mickey was just an observer for the first, while he was a bailiff. And just kept his mouth shut. But from what's starting to really come out now is that he was just as involved as Kevin was. Allegedly.
He was a good sheriff, I thought. I don't know. I always questioned where all those drugs went to when they got them. But that's all I did was think, well, now,
Where's all that money? And it wasn't just rugs. It was pew-pews, too.
Well, yeah, they took a lot of those in too, but I just couldn't believe when I watched that pew video of him.
Okay.
They got off that camera.
I spoke to a very prominent businessman here in Letcher County the other day, and we were discussing this, and he looked at me and he said, "Did that look like a madman to you that was in there doing that?" Talking about Mickey. And I said, "No, he didn't. He looked calm." He said, "He looked exactly like he does when we go hunting." He said he was stalking his deer. He said
Yeah.
that lots of people have hunted with Mickey.
Well, he wanted to fish and hunt when he retired, and I really liked him because he was basically pretty nice to me. We had one disagreement over a dog and me feeding that dog that was on somebody else's property, and it was in a little old bitty cage, knee deep in crap.
And what go
and
and okay, and just think about that. What's that say about him? If he's the one that's telling you not to go feed that dog that was knee deep in poop,
Well, he said I was trespassing. I guess he meant that somebody could shoot me
but it
because I was
does.
on their property.
But he was trying to discourage you from feeding that dog.
Well, I know, but I didn't hold that against him.
No, I'm just saying. A compassionate, good person sure wouldn't be leaving a dog that was in that kind of situation in the situation. If I was the sheriff of a county and I see this poor animal suffering horrifically, I'm going to stop it. I'm not going to, oh, well, you better not go on their property. There wasn't even nobody lived there. Like, context matters. Decent cops either quit when they see they can't change it or they are ran out of law enforcement. My first cousin quit. When I asked why, he said they are too violent and too much drama. In 2004, Justice Sam Wright obtained a grant to start a rug court to provide treatment and support for substance addiction recovery in individuals with criminal convictions.
Yeah, I can say that probably was true. We might be worth investigating to see what it was all about.
Well, around that time, every court was developing a drug court. So it wasn't no different here in Letcher County than it was in Harlan or anywhere else. They started rug court after the opiate crisis was filling our jails full of people with addiction. Of course, he's not going to produce the tapes just so they could destroy them. Exactly. I don't blame her for no longer wanting to talk about it. Me neither. Is Ben supposed to be registered on the Kentucky Smex offender site? He's not there either. Not one single picture of him.
It just said that I just in those documents, it said that he was supposed to register. I don't know if it hadn't had time to process or what, but somebody ought to ask about it.
That's interesting, ain't it? Anyone helping recover is helping society more than any cop ever will.
That's exactly right. But I don't know how you help addicts. You know, they forced them into those addiction clinics because they held the big stick over them. And I mean, I think going to an addiction clinic would be a lot better than going to jail here in Letcher County.
Yeah. New York photo of the CEO. Yeah, they've got that little boy arrested now. Here I go again. Look at all the accolades the judge has received for his work in the rug epidemic. But I'm thinking, how? What's the measurement they're using to determine success? Don't see it.
When I looked at those successes, there was like one person, like the recovery rate was like 2% or something.
I know.
And you're spending all that money and that's the recovery rate. I don't understand.
That's right. That's where they blow smoke. Thank you, CC. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Where's all that grant money going? Where's all the confiscated money, rugs, pews? All of that stuff had to be all they have to do is look at the Facebook pages of all that they've confiscated. If they could compare that to what's been written down in the records, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to see a huge discrepancy there.
Well, they were getting a lot of them, and Mickey had him a dog too.
He sure did. That ended up. It was that little girl's dog. They had a female officer. And when they put it all out on Facebook, they were asking for all these donations to send him to training, to send the dog to police training.
Oh, I thought that they got that dog already trained.
Oh, I don't know. It might have been, but they were requesting, soliciting donations for the dog stuff.
Well, he had it in a cage at his house.
And it was going to be this female deputy's. She was going to be the canine officer. Well, the next thing you know, Mickey became the canine officer. He took it from her. And I don't know the details of that situation. All I know is that originally she was the one. That's how it was presented to the entire community. And then after everybody donated and after all this stuff went on, then all of a sudden you didn't hear one word. They even put it out on Facebook that she was the one that was getting the dog. And then the next thing you know, she didn't get it. Mickey took it. And he wouldn't even let that dog stay in the house, I don't reckon. They were weirdos when it comes to animals, I'll just say. The effects of authorities' moral behavior are shadowing the people. And that's what is such a shame. The destruction of justice is everybody's concern.
Absolutely. That's why I'm sitting here. It's my concern when we have the destruction of justice. I really would like for us to have a judicial system that was fair and equitable to all the citizens. No bias.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just asking too much.
See you later. Letcher Fiscal Court unanimously passed a resolution describing the results of Judge Wright's drug court as amazingly successful. Justice Wright obtained a grant in 2015 to expand his drug court. And so that was before Jimmy Kraft became judge.
Yeah, because Judge Wright died, didn't he? Maybe even in office.
Fuchsia couch. Picture of lady is the one passed away. No, that picture that we saw is the one that's still alive. Jennifer Hill is the one that passed away. And I couldn't find a picture of her before we went on tonight. But I'll keep looking. I'm sure I'll find one. Somebody will get me one. Florida is both parties. Georgia is one party knowledge.
What's that mean?
Recording people. Like if you're recording. Jesse James. That is true for Kentucky. That's what I thought so. Yes, Kentucky is one party consent for audio. Yeah. That all of it is disturbing. Abuse of authority, broken justice system. Yeah, and anytime somebody's in a position of power and stuff, you've got all kinds of other people who are just falling all over themselves to be in their circle. Heck, even at my height of, when I graduated and I was just so idealistic, I'm sorry, it just went right out of my mind. What was I saying?
You were talking about when you graduated, you wanted to be in the, you couldn't break into the circle. And that's enough said.
Yeah, if they had told me, if they had made me go through some kind of a obstacle course, I mean, I'm just being kind of silly, but if they had made me crawl through dirt and mud and stuff, I would have done it thinking I was going to get rewarded at the end of it. You know what I mean? I would have done whatever I thought I needed to do.
Well, sometimes it's just God's blessing that you don't get there.
And I'm not talking about anything bad. I'm just saying, if somebody had made me jump through hoops, to get there with the promise of being able to get there at the end, I would have jumped through. I would have probably broke my back to jump through those hoops to get there. And just like that victim said, these are cops. I never expected the cops to be doing this. you trust them. And it's just
All
such
right.
a
Can we
let
go on to another comment?
Yeah, sorry. Whimsical Wade. I used to be involved in drug court statewide. I'm absolutely familiar with Letcher County. I love Whitesburg, but grew to learn to proceed with caution.
That's right.
All right. It's going to get worse. I'm afraid they took God out of the schools and courthouses. I think God left America as a nation, not the individual, but the nation, Let's see. Some of those mafia guys have their own YouTube channels now. They do.
You mean the ones from New York?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. I bet they're good.
Yeah.
I watched this one that was called something of London. Gangs of London. Oh, I liked it though.
Was it good?
It was good, but it sure makes you wonder about stuff.
Chrissy says, keep your blinds closed at night. It's legal to fly drones. It's free airspace. You don't own the airspace on your property.
Well, I wonder if they'll come look in my windows. They'll get a big surprise.
I think about that too sometimes. I look out my window and I'm like, I wonder if there's anybody up on that mountain looking at me.
I don't even have blinds. I got pretty things hanging down on my window. See, look, let me see look at there. That's so I can see outside. See my scarves?
Yeah, scarves. Sweet Tater, you give me a belly laugh with how long things take.
Well, I didn't coin that phrase. Somebody else did. I just remembered it.
Yeah.
It's kind of true, though.
Yeah.
It's because we're isolated. That's why we have, now I'm not from here, only been here 35 years, but even the area that I'm from is isolated. Not as isolated now as it was then. But that's why we have the language that we have, where we have Appalachian language. I read all those Appalachian language stuff, and it's due to the isolation. And, that's where the music comes from, like bluegrass music. Of course, now bluegrass music's different than it was in the beginning. But it was because we had these influences. We had black music influences, but these guys, they had been isolated, and it just boiled and boiled and boiled, and then it came out like bluegrass. Here we are, bluegrass music. And that's how it came about.
Well, you're good at explaining that. Let's see. Did you read that? Well, I guess I'm flirting all the time because I speak to everyone, even if they don't want to speak to me.
Well, I do too, and I just talk up a storm, and people call it flirting, but what does a woman like me want to flirt?
I
guess
know.
Maybe it is flirting. I don't know.
Well, I'm nice. I've got a lot of my personality's a whole lot like yours, and I don't know if anybody ever accuses me of flirting, but I ain't heard that yet anyway. You can be spied on. Be careful. Sunbathing as well. You never know. You might just wind up being a celebrity on Instagram, or even YouTube. You'd never know it. Be careful, y'all. Times have changed.
Well, I'm glad that I'm out of that anybody'd want to spy on me for those kinds of reasons. They might want my secret recipes.
Sweet taters only can keep so long, fellas. Oh, sweet taters only can keep so long, fellas.
Well, he means that they go bad and you have to throw them away.
Yeah.
Yes, when you make them.
Let's see. Connie Lewis, love this content and thank you so much. Haven't been commenting, but listening. Been busy making my homemade beef veggie soup for freezing. Are you going live tonight or tomorrow? Yes, we are. That is my every day I want to try and do a live. We're doing this one a little bit early today, but we will definitely be back on tomorrow. I
But
might
I won't be here until in the evening.
Let's see. Any camera can be unplugged. Now, I'd imagine after it was installed, things didn't change much because I think it had to be common knowledge in the courthouse. This stuff was common knowledge all over Letcher County. Some people just don't want to admit the truth.
Well, some people like me don't even think about it.
Right.
There's a lot of innocent people.
Mickey was staying on the Bell County Commonwealth Attorney to prosecute Pratt, Banks's caregiver. Yes, that's exactly right. Case was dismissed. Pratt is the girl that was living in Edison Banks, who was our Commonwealth Attorney
That
for
just
the
died.
last 25 years, who just died. She was his live-in aide, and she was stopped a couple different times. She was stopped more than once, and she was charged with all kinds of trafficking, or at least she was caught with a whole lot of stuff. And she was driving his car. Like when she got pulled over with all the rugs, she was driving Edison Banks's car. Makes me think, were they taking this stuff out of the Letcher County Sheriff's Department and reselling it on the street? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying there's all kinds of possibilities that could
Yeah,
be.
she said Mickey was staying on the Bell County
Yeah.
to prosecute her.
Yeah. Whenever the article, we can read the article.
Well, we don't want to read it today. We've been on here too long.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
We'll go over that case again. Okay. Tater's dog's name, please, ladies.
Well, the one that I had on my lab is called Ethy. My friend up the street died, and she had a lot of animals, and that's the one I got.
And the black and white one back there, the one that
I don't think they've seen Lucky. I called for him.
Yeah, he's the one they said you was chasing deer with. You were running deer with that dog.
And I had deers down in my yard last year, but they came down and ate all my fruit. I was glad to give it to them, though.
Genevieve, I like it when you go live during my lunch break. Good. Hello, everyone. Spicy Demure. I love the name. I'm a project manager for the DOJ. I am making some phone calls today to get Benjamin Fields on the federal registry and state registry. Letcher County can be fined for not following the registry. Good for
Well, I
you.
hope they will. They need to put him on that register.
Yeah.
That's the least they can do, because you can't victimize women. And if he was ever in situations where he could victimize girls in high schools and stuff, I feel sure he would do that. I mean,
well, and I'm going to tell you too, this new guy, this Billy Jones that they just made our sheriff, he's been part of the sheriff's department, because the picture that I was looking at last night, it had Deputy Norris, and it had Ben Fields, it had the Jones guy, it had Mickey. So he was part of that sheriff's department. This guy,
yeah, he's a pretty nice guy.
Well, he might be, but he was still a deputy when all this stuff was going on. And I just wonder who all knew it. There's no way this stuff could be happening day in and day out, and everybody that they work with not know. Now, I don't believe that as far as I can throw you. I don't believe that.
Who you gonna bark at?
Because I've been a coworker before. I know the procedures and the policies and the work ethic and all that kind of stuff. No matter what job you do, you still have these things, and you can tell when somebody is deviating from what they're supposed to be doing. Like, there's red flags.
Well,
I'm not saying that he knew everything. I'm just saying there's no way. I don't believe that. I believe that everybody that was part of that whole mess down there knew way more than what anybody else did.
Well, okay.
The key to window blinds. Turn one way, they can't see you. If turned another way, they can see everything you do. Yeah.
Well, it gets cold without having blinds and curtains.
Look there. Shame X2. Jamie Knowles even stole his deceased brother's money from his nieces and nephews. Jamie Knowles was the sheriff up in, I think it was Indiana. He was the one who started that TV show 60 Days In, where they would send undercover people into the jails and stuff. And he was a dirty dog. Dirty dog. Sweet Tater's fur baby looks just like my fur baby I lost last year. I'm sorry. He was a Chia rat, Chihuahua rat terrier. Sweet babies and so easy to spoil.
Mine must be is probably a Chia rat or something like that. I always wondered what she was. I knew she had Chihuahua, but that wasn't all she had.
It's time for a good old girls club. You ready, Elizabeth and Sweet Tater? I am. Yay. In last night's interview, the victim referenced her house burning down. Curious if that was a scare tactic or threat. There was I think everything that they did was a scare tactic and a threat. Sounds to me like. Frog Level Florida in the house. Glad you're here. As always, Chomo's pizzles need collected. Enjoying your channel. Found you a couple weeks ago. Oh, well, thank you. Stay with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, Elizabeth and Big Mama. Hello, sweetheart. Sweet gator pie. Miss Amy Shelby. Hello from East Texas. They are holding hearings about drones on Capitol Hill.
Oh, well, yeah, they'll.
Ah, look at that one. She was a live schmeck slave, in my opinion. On call 24/7. He knew right where she was at. I mean, it's just awful. And the fact that she kept being falsely imprisoned by him, like those are charges. Why didn't they get charged with that kind of stuff? They could have easily proved that with the jail records and being able to look back at that stuff. I wonder if their wives knew or suspected the depraved activity of their spouses.
Well, maybe they didn't care how many blowjobs they got.
Mommy.
Well, then that just meant they didn't have to do anything.
All the wives knew and kept their mouths shut.
Well, see, I wasn't so far off. She had a dirty mind, too.
Sweet Tater, you better get you some blinds, girl.
I hope I get on some show.
Oops. Yeah, go ahead, Mommy. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't have anything I was going to say.
Oops, Benfield's case wasn't heard in Letcher County, was it? Well, of course it was. Yes, I'm sure it was. It was just a different judge. Agatha Christie, an archaeologist, is the best husband a woman can have. The older she gets, the more interested he is in her. That's good.
Well, it's not the act that these men enjoy so much. It's the power, that they've got, that they can exert over people. I mean, it's like, serial rapist. When you read about how their mind works.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of like what they were, serial rapists, wasn't it?
Yeah, our words. YouTube gets funny on when we say stuff. That's all right.
Oh, okay. So I
R word. I just call it
R word. Yeah, okay, R word. Sorry, I hope they don't.
That's okay. That's all right. Love Mrs. Forbes. She is the best. I had 2 classes under her. Hello, Miss Linda.
Well, I've always been sort of a rebel.
She
I
had-
like working for the underdog.
Did you go to Woodstock, Mom?
No, I don't know. I don't believe I did.
Okay.
I come through there the year that they had it, but I didn't stop. I had to go someplace else.
You was on your way to another big place. All
Well, I'm
right.
glad I didn't go because there's some bad stuff went down there.
Oh yeah. Use much safer. Everybody got a big kick out of your out of your comment. Sweet Tater, I'm rolling laughing. Sweet Tater. You nailed it, Sweet Tater. Email, thanks. Thank you once again. See you tomorrow. Bye, Miss Connie. Thank you. I'm so impressed with you and your channel. Quack, quack, quack. Well, thank you. Stick around. We're
I
gonna,
like ducks. Quack, quack, quack.
yeah, we're gonna
I
have a
like to
great
have a farm with one of all the animals that I could think of. Not every animal, but like a duck and
We'd have our own Zelma's Ark. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and close this one up, Mommy. Let
Phew.
you
praise God.
rest. And I'll
I'm
call
gonna take
you
a
later.
nap, eat some soup.
Yeah, we got kind of snowed in this morning, and
Yeah, there's snow on my trees.
school was canceled, so it was nice.
Well,
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much, everybody. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, please. I think we got like 65% of our viewers aren't subscribed, so hit that button. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live, when we're posting another video, and what else? Anything else I'm forgetting? I already said that. All right, let's see. It's not a victimization list. It's an SA law to disclose for public to be able to reference. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, you have a great rest of your day. We might get back on here later this evening and do maybe a reaction video. But we'll do the other recording tomorrow. And we still got the interview with Ben Fields to go. So, all right, y'all. Well, you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you a little bit later, okay? Bless you, bless you, bless you. Stay